So you can tell your friends to join in, to join. Tell them we have started and we are going live. I'm giving 2 minutes for everyone to join in. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody, good evening. Can we see me? Can we hear me clearly? Okay, so since we can, I'm just going to be diving into what we have today. So, good evening, everybody. How is your Sunday going? I hope you're enjoying it perfectly well. So, my name is Praise Odelola, and I will be anchoring today's session. And just as we all know, this is a platform where you learn. Like last month, we learned about, owning your voice in the media space. And this month, we are taking it a step further, where we are going to learn about presenting with distinction. And we have a very interesting personnel, a media par excellence in our midst today, who is going to be taking us on this interesting topic. So if you have any question during the session, you can just post it on the chat box or on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, just drop your comment, your question in the comment section, and we'll get through to it. So I'm going to be reading our guest bio right now, as we are just going to dive straight into what we have today. So, Fumi Omobori is a multi-award winning broadcaster. She's a journalist and a communication strategist with nearly 2 decades of experience in print and in broadcast media. She anchors flagship programs such as The Breakfast Show on Echo 89.7 FM and Iton Akoni on Radio Lagos 107.5 FM, using our platforms to spotlight societal issues and solutions. So she is a voiceover artist, a compere, and a former lecturer. She has received numerous accolades and awards, including the BBC Media Action Awards, the Eco Heritage Awards, the Impact Makers Awards, and ICSAN recognition for advancing broadcast and governance. She also mentors young media talent, and she's happily married with children. She's happily married with children. So, if you all know how excited I am for today's session, you will clap with me. So, are we all ready? Because I'm about to. Good evening, Mom. Thank you for joining us for this month's webinar. And I'm really grateful that you made it to our midst today.
Hi, good evening. Praise
Evening.
Odelola. I think that's your name. I
Yes,
can see that.
yes, you're welcome, Mom. So
All right, thank you.
diving straight into the webinar today, the first question I have for you is, how did you get into the media space? If you can briefly share your story with us, would like to know how, you know, how you became this wonderful person. As I was reading your bio, I was really impressed, to be honest. And I'm just like, God, when?
It's really good way. That's quite interesting though. Well, getting into the media space,
Yes.
I didn't get into media space accidentally, no. It's something I'd always wanted to do. It was a childhood dream I had. Growing up back then, you would watch those broadcasters on TV looking all glam and all nice with their diction and everything. So it was something I wanted to do from the beginning. So by the time I was going to higher institution, I decided I was going to study mass communication because that was what I had always wanted to do. So,
Yeah,
but
true.
I didn't get into TV. I'm a radio person, maybe because I love the mystery behind radio, where people just get to hear your voice and then they get to imagine a whole lot of things. But these days, you find that even radio stations stream, on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and all that. So that anonymity has been a little bit eroded for me because I've had situations whereby, oh, at the mall or just buying something or in the marketplace, someone just shouts your name. I'd always wanted a situation whereby I could sneak into an amala joint without anyone knowing who this is, you know. But getting into the media space it's really been interesting. So it's been a childhood dream. So I'm living the life I've always wanted.
I love that. I love that for you. And
Thank
so what
you.
is that defining moment that shaped your presentation style? Like listening to you, like I know that. I mean, listening to you, I know that you are some a force to reckon with. Let me use that statement because you've won lots of awards and congratulations by the way. So, what is that
Thank
moment that
you.
you can say that shaped your presentation style?
I'm trying to look back, but I think it has to do majorly with determination on what exactly you want to do, how exactly you want to project yourself. You don't want to um you don't want to come across as someone who doesn't know what she's doing or someone who is just there or someone a force that you can't reckon with. So for me, from the beginning, I had that um, conviction within me that I could make a difference. I knew what I was going into, so I was prepared for it. Remember, I said it was a childhood dream. So I,
Yeah,
along the line, had gathered so much knowledge, and I'm still gathering knowledge because you don't arrive. I tell people that as a presenter, you never arrive. You keep learning every day. So would I say there was practically a defining moment? I might really not be able to say that, but one particular incident that gave me a reorientation would be when I started broadcasting. I I decided that even if no one else believed in me, I was going to believe in myself. And that was a
right.
defining moment for me. So I just quickly share the story about what happened. I'd written it on my Facebook page one time like that when I was paying tribute to someone who actually believed in me when he passed. Joining a media house and you won't be put on the major news bulletin. We had, the short news bulletins. The major news bulletin would last about 15 minutes. And major news readers, talking about my stations, only major news readers that are allowed to read that bulletin. Major news readers have years of experience. So here I was about 3 months into, about 3 or 4 months into my employment. And so this particular news reader came into the studio, of course, was my boss, and like, oh, for me. The news bulletin, when that news bulletin comes in, just to rehearse it, I'll be back, but I just want you to at least have a feel of, with the bulletin and what the stories look like. Oh, and I said, oh, okay, fine. As I was about exiting the studio, he turned back and said, and in case I don't show up for the bulletin, feel free to read it. I was like, why won't you show up for the bulletin? Like, I'm just a few months on this job. How you want to kill me or kill my career even before it got started? I just said, okay, don't worry, I'll be back. And then he just left the studio. Now, for this major bulletin has a crew of producers, of current affairs analysts, and so there were about 5 or 6 gurus in that crew. So they would come into the studio to produce that bulletin. So they came into the studio and said, "Oh, where is Mr. Adefemi?" And I said, "Oh, he was here earlier because it was his name on the news roster. Oh, he was here earlier, and he said he would be back." All right, so they waited, and about 10 minutes to airtime, they still had not seen Mr. Adefemi. And everyone became apprehensive, like, so when is the newsreader? Where's the newsreader? 5 minutes, Mr. Adefemi had not showed up. And so I remembered he told me that I could actually take the news when he was leaving the studio. So I said to the crew, I said, oh, when he was leaving, he said I could take the news. Oh my goodness. Maybe I should not have said that
After that,
because you couldn't imagine all the things they were saying. When did you start broadcasting? You want to read major news bulletin? How is that possible? Have you ever read a major news? Have you ever? I just kept quiet. Like, imagine that kind of things being thrown at you. You were just a few months on the job and all that. And so I kept quiet. So 5 on the dot, I started rolling the tunes for the news and all that. Mr. Adifemi did not show up. So one of them said, okay, Mr. Adifemi said you should read the news. I said, oh yeah, now go and read it. So it's just like, okay, so go ahead, go on air and go and mess yourself up. And with all that, so I took the bulletin. Of course, I had gone through the bulletin earlier. So I went on air with my heart in my mouth, like this was going to be a make or mar for my career. So I was just like, God, I put everything in your hands. So, so I went live. I think I was the first person like that to in a few months be on a major bulletin. And I didn't murder it. I delivered. By the
nice.
time I finished that bulletin, all the people they were like, "Oh, how could you have?" They changed voice, like, "Oh, that was not bad. I think you read this somewhere before. That kind of a thing." Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So they left. So I was like, thank God. So a few minutes after, the intercom in the studio rang, and it was Mr. Adefemi on the other line. He didn't go anywhere. He just decided to push me right into the limelight because he felt I was ready while I was feeling I wasn't ready. So he was like, I listened to you. That was not bad. You only mispronounced one word. And then he told me, well, he said, keep it up. And that was how I got into major news reading ahead of my colleagues. So believe in yourself. That was a defining moment for me. Like no one can tell me, oh, you're not ready, you can't do it. But always be prepared. If I wasn't prepared, I wouldn't have had that opportunity.
True. True. Ladies, hope you are listening. I learned a lot from this story. Determination is number one. Believe in yourself. If you're believing in yourself, then you know that once they throw you on that spot, you will kill it no matter what. you will always perform. So, mom, moving on to the next question that I have for you. What does presentation with distinction, what does it mean to you? And if you have to narrow it down, what are major key skill that you think that makes the difference getting there?
All
What are the
right.
major, yeah,
Okay, so I'd say it's not presentation, it's presentation. So
presentation?
let's
Okay,
start
thank you.
on that note
Yeah, presentation. I'm
because,
learning.
yes, exactly, presentation. Because as a presenter, you must have a good diction, you must have a good command of your of the language of broadcast. So whether you want to broadcast in English, whether you want to broadcast in Yoruba, whether you want to broadcast in Igbo, Hausa, any language, you must have a good command of that language. So when we talk about presentation, of course, with distinction, that's one thing I just spoke to you about. But now I know quite a number of us, we listen to radio, we watch movies, we watch TV and all that. But let's bring it to programming or presenting programs. I'd like to throw it open because I like when I host when I have opportunities like this to also rub minds with people I'm chatting with. Okay, so it's not just going to be a one-way traffic. Everyone will have to get involved. So, Praise, let me also ask you, the last time you listened to maybe radio or watched TV, was anything striking for you? Or what program did you listen to last or watch on TV last that really left a lasting impression on you? So I'm asking you, Praise.
Okay, okay, sorry.
Yes,
Hello. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you clearly.
If I understand your question correctly, you're asking if what presentation, sorry, left a lasting impact for me.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So this breakfast show on TVC, breakfast show on
Okay.
TVC, yeah. I during my internship I did it with them. So there was this presentation that they did um I think it was on a Tuesday. It was on a Tuesday, and the way Mr. Mike Okoche, that was the presenter's name. The way he just handled it, it made me it made me just know that I'm in the right space.
Okay,
It
what
just
what
made
exactly stood out for you? Was it the delivery? Was it the way he
the
talks?
delivery and the way he
All
handled the
right.
guest when he was speaking,
Mm,
that you could see that he was in command of that show.
all right. So thank you, Praise. So let's start with that delivery. Now, these days, we keep saying, oh, attention span is reducing and all that. So your delivery matters a whole lot. You might have the idea, you might have, what you want to talk about, but if you do not deliver it the right way, then you might not be able to communicate with your audience. So that was why I asked you that question. What actually stood out for you from that particular presentation that, made you feel, oh, I can't get this off my head or off my mind, and I think I like this. Do you get? So someone goes on air and then the person is all moody. Oh, you're welcome to this program. You're welcome to this. Like, what's wrong with this one? Are you hungry? Have you not eaten? Is everything okay? Then you want to compare with someone who comes live on the show and say, "Oh, good morning. It's a beautiful day. How you doing?" Even the excitement the person will pass the excitement across to you and you'll be hooked rather than someone who comes and then starts with a dull tone or something like that. Let's see, this country is hard enough already. Nobody should add to our problems. But when you listen to someone who is excited, someone who is able to deliver their script appropriately, then you know that yes, that's a good thing. So delivery is very, very important. It's what determines whether people stay to listen or stay to watch you. And these days there are several stations, just a flip or a click away. So how do you keep your audience? How do you keep their attention? How do you keep them coming back? Because there are several options. How do you keep them coming back? Very important. Some have fantastic ideas. How to deliver them becomes a problem. Some have great content. Presenting and communicating it becomes a Herculean task. So delivery is very, very important. As much as you want to have great things to discuss on your show, how you present and communicate them is important. If I could look at movies, the stories might be great, then, but you still have to audition for each role. Why don't they just give the role to just anyone that comes along? Because delivery matter. You might have seen a movie and say, "Oh, fantastic storyline," but I don't like how that guy acted that particular part or how that babe delivered that part. So if you have a fantastic idea, you have fantastic content, then your delivery must be at par because you end up losing your audience cannot, if you cannot deliver it appropriately. Okay. So what makes you unforgettable most times is your delivery, your confidence, your clarity, what connection do you have with your audience? All right. So how you present your delivery is important. I'm starting from where you started from. Okay, because you said it was the delivery that made you stay, and that's just important. Okay, delivery, so that you can draw in and suck in your audience. Very important. Then, of course, another point to note, uh, in order to, of course, when it comes to presentation, you want distinction in presentation. You must have clarity. Your message must be easy to understand. Use simple language. I tell people you don't need all the big, big grammar. I don't like it when people talk and then they start using big grammar. Coming to mind will be Honorable Obayagbon, Reverend Chris Okoti. I don't have to carry dictionary to listen to you. I mean, you end up, if you come on radio or TV and then you start using big, big grammar, you lose your audience. Because I will hear one particular word and then I'm trying to check online, oh, what does this word mean? By the time I'm trying to check that word, you've lost me because every other thing you're saying, I can't follow because I'm still trying as much as possible to check the last thing you said. So use simple words, be clear, be confident in your delivery, be authentic. Ah, I hear a lot of people form accents. Oh my goodness. And then you can't place them. Is this British accent? Is it American? Is it Scandinavian? Is it German? You can't place it. You just hear some kind of a gonna like, please communicate. That's the most important thing. Communicate with me. Be authentic. Don't try to sound like anyone. Be you. I'm speaking English right now, right? You can understand what I'm saying, but I'm not trying to form any accent, am I? So
No.
communicate. The only thing you need to do is try to sound your words correctly. Once you sound your words correctly, you string together your words, you're good to go. You don't need to start forming a particular accent in order to pass your message across. No, be clear, be audible, be authentic. And I tell this, I mentor, I say you can never be like, okay, so you have a mentor and then you want to be like this person. And then you start imitating that person. You always be a copy. You can't be original. So be original. You could have mentors, but what's unique to you, be original. That's very important. And that will make you stand out. But as long as you're trying to sound like someone, they will always say, oh, you sound like. So it means you're not owning your originality. Anywhere you go, is, oh, you sound like this person. Oh, you sound like this person. So where are you in the scheme of things? You've lost yourself. So be you, be authentic, be clear, be confident. Now, I've seen quite a number of people will come on air and then you don't have a script. How are you going to present with distinction if you don't have a script? Some will just come like, oh, the topic we're discussing today is so and so. And then you open the phone lines. The phone lines have used has been bastardized over the years. And some will just come live and you don't really have anything up. You just have your topic. And then you're going live with such a topic. No, it doesn't make any sense. Because you should have a script, you should have researched your topic. I've heard presenters being corrected on air by audience. That shouldn't happen because if you've done your homework, you would have had time to know certain things, and then people won't be correcting you while on air. Once there is error, the trust and believability people have in you drops. When people start correcting you, they can't believe you anymore. They will just, this person doesn't know what he's saying or doesn't know what she's saying. So you must research, you must have all your facts. Facts are sacred, opinions are free. That's journalism maxim. So you must have the facts of the matter. Research. Research is very important in your scripting. So if you have guests that maybe it's a program that is guest based, research your guest as well. Know a little bit about your guest. And of course, know much more about the topic. Don't go into the program with preconceived ideas. Open your mind. You could just have a few questions. Like if it's an interview program, so just have a few questions and listen so that you can ask follow-up questions. A lot of things will be said that you might need to follow up on. So just try as much as possible to do that. Of course, your message, what's the core idea? What are you trying to pass across? Your message must be clear. What do you want people to learn from this edition of the program? Your aim must be spelled out. You must have that idea. This is what I want people to be able to get from this program before at the end of the program. So have that aim. And of course, after knowing what to write, you must know your audience because I tell people you can't say, oh, my program is for everybody. It's not possible. So you must know your audience. If you're anchoring a kiddies program, you must know what language would be suitable for children. If you're presenting a current affairs program, what language would be suitable? If you're presenting an entertainment program, oh, anything goes. Do you understand? So that will help you in your scripting. So you also need to structure your delivery. Your opening, the body, and the close. Open with a bang, close with a banger. Do you understand that? So because your opening will determine whether you'll be able to sustain your audience. And then your closing, reinforce the message. Maybe there's going to be a call to action. That's why I said close with a banger. So much so that when this person is trying to process what they listen to, they can at least have a takeaway, from that particular program. In all of this, your mood, I spoke about delivery earlier. Your mood matter a lot. If you come up with a kind of mood that is not Maybe you were in a bad mood or something, it will definitely show, it will affect your delivery. There's something we'd normally say when you, once you're coming to the state, once you're coming to work, drop all your problems, all your worries at the gate, not at the studio door. Drop it at the gate as you're entering the station. Just drop it at the gate. Because when people tune on their radio, when they turn on their TV, they want to see happy faces. They want to listen to happy voices. And so you can't come on air and then be moody. And then that will affect you. Anytime you talk, you're expected to smile. The listener might not see you, but they can hear the smile in your voice. And so they go, oh, this person is exciting. This person is interesting to, and of course, and I say that you don't have a second chance to make a first impression. Someone might be listening to you for the very first time. So each time you turn on your microphone, bring on your A game. Because you might say, oh, today I don't even feel like it. And it's that day that you don't feel like it that someone decides to tune in to listen to you. And then the person is hearing you at your worst. And the person will like, "Ah, so why am I wasting my time? Why is it this person I want to listen to?" The person, next time they tune in, they hear your voice, they will tune away. This person that I listened to the last time didn't cut it up for me. In this profession, we say you are as good as your last production. So it means every of your production, you must bring your A game on. You must improve on your last production. So you can't afford to drop. You must be consistent because each time you turn on that microphone, someone is listening to you for the very first time. And so, what first impression are you creating for this person? So it's important for you to know whatever it is that is your mood. Ensure that you just try to lift your mood. I'd been on air one time, and I heard a colleague passed. I first off my mic, I cried, took a hold of myself, put on my microphone. The show must go on.
The show must
Do you
go on.
understand?
What
The
show must go
show must go on. A lot of times, your listener, your audience won't know what you're going through. They just hear the happy voice, they just see the happy face. They don't know it. They don't want to know. Their own things, I put on my radio, I put on my TV. I want to get something out of this. And you must be willing to deliver. That's why it's called show business. It's a show. So the business part of it is money must be made.
on.
So you can't afford to um, go ahead and spoil business for yourself or for your employer. So once you put on that mic or that camera turns on, give it your best shot. That's the way to go about it. Okay, I don't know if I'm communicating. Maybe I could get
Wow,
some emoji.
you are certainly communicating, mom. I'm learning a lot, and I'm sure other media girls they are also taking note of the important things that has been said today. So,
Mm.
what habit would you say? Speaking of, you have to bring in your A game at everything that you're doing. Once you're as a presenter, you have to be there and speak with clarity and confidence. So, what are some habits that have helped you maintain this excellence over time that you'd like to share to the media girls?
Okay. Preparation. Prepare for your program. Prepare. They'll say proper preparation prevent poor performance. I think we learned that maybe in primary or secondary school.
Very good.
So when you're prepared, that helps you to bring your A game. Like, okay, so whatever is happening, I'm bringing my A game on. Sometimes when I want to go on my show and I'm feeling a bit tired, I'm feeling like I'm not up to this program at this point in time. I just play music and I dance. Dance for me, dancing helps improve my mood. I'm in a bad, I just put on, give me some good music with some good, um, instrumentation. I dance. Once I put on that microphone, I put everything behind. So once the microphone goes off, I can now go and do like this. I've had that situation before when someone came into the studio and then saw me like this after going on a music break and say, well, you know the one shouting and gisting on air just now. What's up with it, Omo? I'm not feeling too good. Well, anyone listening to me wouldn't know that.
But the show must go
So
on.
the show just has to go on. So you have to be passionate about what you do because that passion will take you far. Even when you don't feel like it, it's your passion that would keep propelling you to do more. So I've had situations where I've had to from the hospital go to work. Like the doctor says, "Oh, you need to rest." I'm like, "Yes, yes, I'll come back to rest." But I have a show to present this morning. Just give me injection. I'll be back. Just give me 4 hours. So that's the passion we're talking about. You must be passionate about what you do, and that passion will take you pretty far.
Okay, so media girls, hope you're listening. Passion and preparation, they matter in whatever you are doing. So I'm sure there are lots of us here that you feel tired, you feel like today is not my day, but you just have to have the passion. The passion is what will help you to move. The show must go on. That passion is going to help you to continue. So, which brings me to another question that I have for you, ma'am. So, what role does personal branding? You said we should be original, we should be authentic. So, what role? The media girls want to know what the role that this personal branding play in achieving distinction.
Okay. Starting out, define what you want to do. I see when I meet anyone who says, "Oh, I want to be in the media space," or when interns come around and like, "Oh, the first question I ask is, what's your area of strength out of the media space? Which sector interests you the most?" So because you have entertainment, you have news and current affairs, or you have fashion, you have business, you have serious news. There's a plethora of things you could do. So I would usually ask which one interests you the most. Because what I've found out over the years is some people might actually um love someone because, oh, I love this person because of how they do what they do you get? But
Yeah.
they are not cut out for such programs. I've seen people who, oh, the top 10 countdown, people, there are certain people that will deliver it fantastically. Put another person there, the person will fail. Now bring that person who did very well with the top 10 countdown, bring the person to news reading, the person will murder it. So you must know where you belong. That's where personal branding comes in. Although it's been said that as a journalist, you must be a jack of all trade, master of all. But even at that, as I will still have journalists who cover certain beats and they become professionals in such beats. So your personal branding has to do with what exactly interests you the most. Find where your strength lies and capitalize on it. It's not as if you won't be able to present other programs. It's not as if you won't be able to do other things. But if someone is thinking this particular sector, let your name come to their head. Like, yes, this person could do this, but I think this person has better strength in this sector or in this particular section of the media. So that's very important. So maybe you're an educationist or you're good with education programs. Maybe you're good with drama. Some people are fantastic when it comes to writing drama scripts. Some people, oh, it's lifestyle, fashion. Okay, this person's color combination is horrible. Some of us just have basic knowledge of color combination, but when some people combine colors for you, be like, I doff my heart. So know exactly where your strength lies, and that will definitely help with your branding.
Okay, thank you very much for that, ma'am. Media girls, please, if you have any question, kindly drop it in the chat box. We are here to answer all your questions, and I'm sure we have all been learning, and we are getting a lot of we're getting a lot of encouragement from this session. I myself have been taking notes of a lot of things because a lot of things are being said, and I would love us not just to take notes, also put it into practice. So, ma'am, I would like to ask those questions. Sorry, if you were starting over today, what would you do differently?
Mm, maybe I'll be more open and make more collaborations
Mm,
because these days collaboration is the currency. You can't
okay.
achieve everything on your own. You can't be individualistic. So you just have to explore your network. They said your network is your net worth. So maybe I would have told my younger self, network better. So did I answer your question or
Yes, that was my question. Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay, so media girls are always asking a particular question. So I know you've gone a lot into delivery and the rest. So if in a setting where your higher ups, your supervisors, they are not giving you, or I would like to, they are not they treat your opinion like it doesn't matter. They just do you anyhow because you're new or because you're just growing. They just feel like, oh, you are still a newbie. Just wait and learn. Just wait and learn. They're not even giving you the opportunity to grow, to own your voice, or to be that presenter that you can envision yourself becoming. So, what will you do in that particular scenario?
you learn the ropes? Learn the ropes at first. I've encountered young broadcasters who feel, oh, I know better than all of you. Don't carry that mentality. You can't say, oh, you know better, because they will use the experience and floor you. So even if you have a supervisor who feels, oh, they don't want your voice to be heard, learn the ropes. And that's why preparing yourself matter. So in that, because it's always a phase, in that phase where no one is listening to you, in that phase, no one is ready to give you that opportunity. What are you doing behind closed doors? What are you doing on your own? So the fact that no one is giving you the opportunity, does that mean, oh, you should just give up on yourself? That gives you the that gives you an opportunity to ensure. Are you there?
Yes, I'm
Can you
here.
hear me? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I can hear you
Because
loud and clear. Sorry. Yes.
okay. All right. So that's actually gives you an opportunity to build, to get more knowledge. Okay. So when that phase now passes away, who are you at that point? When people now say, oh, this person has been saying we are not giving him or her that opportunity. Okay, oh yeah, let's see what you can do. And at the end of the day, you not can't do anything. So what happens? So you must prepare yourself, learn the ropes. Don't just go into an organization and feel all of you don't know what you're doing. I'm here to change everything, or I'm the best thing
Everything.
that could happen after jollof rice. No, it doesn't it doesn't make any sense. So if you're not given
Yeah.
opportunity, it happens. The people ahead of you might not give you that opportunity. Power is not served a la carte. So learn the ropes and wait for the right time. And if you feel, oh, they are stifling you, they are doing some certain things that you're not okay with, you can look for other avenues to express yourself. You could look for other places that your gift, your talent would be appreciated. So if you feel they are stifling you and you have that belief in yourself that yes, I think I'm on the right path. But for me, I'd always advise learn the process. Very important for you to learn the process.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am, for that. Um, Another question I have for you here is what is a single biggest distinction killer you see in young presenters, and how do you think it can be eliminated?
I know it's all syndrome because you have access to data and you can check things all online. Does not mean you know it all. Okay, you get a whole lot of things via experience. I've come across young broadcasters who just feel, oh, I know it. I know this. Oh, I know it. And I just laugh because there are certain things you would only get to know via experience. So if you approach the job like I know everything, then you're putting yourself up uh, for big time for some form of I don't want to use the word shame, disappointment,
Yeah.
because some people will just find a way to cut your feathers. That's just it. And a lot of times I see young broadcasters go live without their script. Your script is important, whether any kind of script. It doesn't really have to be full script. You have this different kind of scripts. It could be a rundown script. It could be a partial script. It's anything that could guide your presentation. Don't just go ahead to say, oh, I'm presenting this show and I'm presenting it offhand. Everything I want is in my head. It's not possible. It said that the faintest pen is sharper than the sharpest memory. So whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to say on air, put it down and put down your script the way you talk. A lot of people will just bring script and be reading like this person is reading. You're not supposed to read your script. You should talk your script. We say, oh, talk your script, not read it. And another thing will be the way you connect with the audience. If you want to be a fantastic presenter, you must have a way of connecting with your audience. Audience connection is quite important. If people connect with you freely, if they can connect with what you're saying, if they can relate with what you're talking about, they definitely will come back. All right. So if you can't connect with your audience, that's a killer. If you don't have a script, that's a killer. If you feel, oh, I know it all, that's a killer. So please Let's avoid such.
All right, mom. Media girls, let's avoid anything that will make you just avoid anything that will make you think you know it all. Avoid it. So, mom, a media girl is asking a question here, and she's asking how she can deal with criticism or negative feedback.
Okay. I've been criticized in the course of my career. Don't feel anyone who is criticizing you wants to bring you down. Look at those things that they talked about. I remember starting out, I would ask, you know, professionals, my bosses, please listen to this show. I want to get feedback. I want to see how I'm doing. I don't want to be the one to criticize myself. I don't want to be the one to rate myself. So that way I'm able to grow. And once they present the feedback, I won't say, oh, this person is beefing me. Now, how do you approach criticism? Don't approach it like this person is beefing. There might be beefs. Yes, I'm not saying there won't be, but whatever criticism comes across, don't take it to heart, but work on it. Look at it. Is this person right? Is this person actually factual in their criticism? Even if it's negative, find a way to work on it. Don't take it. I know it can be painful. Like, "Oh, and I gave it all my best. So why, when you go for postmortem, there's something you call postmortem after your production. Then they bring the recording and people listen to it. If they tear into you, you know what's happening and why. Because they want you to get better in the next production. So when you have negative feedback, don't just feel, oh, they want to bring me down, but look at it from a positive aspect. That's what I tell people. Whatever you see happening, draw out the lessons, learn the lessons, and move on and make it better next time.
Learn from your mistakes and move on. You are We all learn every day. We learn every day. So in a case where I make a mistake on air, ma'am, what do you think is the best way to handle such mistakes if it ever happens?
What kind of mistake? Is it that you mispronounced something or you were reading, you made a mistake?
Me- yes, you were
Depends.
reading and you made a mistake.
Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Glide over it and move on. It's when you start apologizing or start focusing on the mistake that you begin to magnify it. A lot of times, some people might not even notice. And once people notice you've moved on to another thing, they move on with you. We've all had instances like that. So sometimes just glide over and move on. That's just the way it is. Immediately you start going back to it, then you're beginning to magnify it. So don't magnify it. If it's a costly one, you could just apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll take that again. And then you move on. Just in one breath. Yes.
Thank you very much for that. So finally, the last question I have for you here is for a media girl aiming for distinction, what is one piece of advice that you would want her to write on a card and tape it to a mirror so that she'll be seeing it every time she goes to the front of the mirror to look at herself?
Okay. I maybe I would just say I'm trying to say something that she can put on her mirror. Okay. Just you could just say, I won't just speak, I will communicate and be remembered.
Hmm, hmm. I
Because
won't just
we say, I won't just speak, I would
speak.
communicate and be remembered. A lot of people just speak, nobody's
Thank you
listening to
very
them.
much for that.
So once you speak, you're communicating, and then people are remembering what you say. So you need to find ways of doing that. there's a whole lot of noise all around. And so in the midst of the noise, a lot of voices come around it. They're speaking, but they are not communicating because nobody's really listening deeply into what they have to say. So I won't just speak, I will communicate and be remembered.
Thank
So you
you
work
very
towards
much.
that every day.
Yes, Mom. Thank you very much.
You're
Really
welcome.
appreciate you showing up. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure other media girls on YouTube and on Zoom here, they are taking notes from the moment you mentioned delivery is the key. We need to command, and I'm sure they are there. They are all listening, and they've heard from our media par excellence, Mom. Esther Omoboriowo. It's so lovely to have you join us this month's edition. Thank you for coming.
All
Thank
right.
you
Thank you
very,
so much
very
for
much.
having me. I appreciate each and every one. And I thank Oludolapo as well for inviting me. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, I'm sure she's listening. And media girls, I'm sure she's listening. Media girls, you've heard that your delivery has to be top notch. You have to be on your A game on everything you're doing. Always be prepared and always research. Preparation is very key in any presentation that you want to do or you are doing currently. Even if you're in school, you're still you have to still put yourself out there. You have to show people that okay, this is what I can do and this is what I'm good at. And always know you know your strength, so build on that strength because it's going to take you to where you want to be and even beyond wherever you want to go. It's very important. We've all learned from our guests today. We've all learned a lot. The one that stood out for me is the mirror. She said I should write. I won't just speak. I would communicate and I would be remembered. It is very, very I mean, it's breathtaking for me. This is one thing that I will never forget. So, media girls, I'm sure we all have learned a lot. And I want to ask our guest if she has any social media handle for us to follow her so we can reach out to you anytime we have any question or we need anything, ma'am.
Oh, feel free. I
Yeah.
am always a click away. On Instagram, I'm at Fumifly. On Facebook, Fumi I Omoburiwo. But before I'll accept you on Facebook, maybe you just drop a message that you're a media girl on in my messenger because I scrutinize those I add on my Facebook. So if you want to add me on Facebook, you can just type in Fumi I Omoburiwo. But on Instagram at Fumifly, on X at Fumifly, on LinkedIn, Fumi Omoburio, on TikTok, Fumifly.
It's really lovely. Once again, it's really lovely to have you on the webinar session this month. Thank you very much for coming. We really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
you.
me.
Yes,
Thank you for
mom.
having me. Thank you.
So,
Appreciate you guys.
media girls, I still remain your lovely anchor, Praise Odelola, and I'm sure we all enjoyed today's session, this month's edition. We'll be here again next month. And I want to say that if you want to be an anchor of any of our session, you can send a message to Priska or to me. We'll always be, and if you have any question, I'm sure Coach Oludolapo is there to answer your questions too. And mom, we thank you once again for coming. Have you enjoy the
Thank
rest
you.
of the evening, have a good night rest and prepare for work tomorrow, everybody.
Most,
So,
most definitely, you could catch me on the breakfast belt on Eco 89.7 FM, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you could tune in tomorrow morning and listen to the breakfast show.
no problem, we'll be there, mom. Thank you very much. Have a good night rest.
All right. I
Good
wish you
night,
guys the same.
everybody.
All right.
Yes,
Have a good night.
I need to run.